What up, nerds? My name is Leslie Smith. Welcome to the Nerdy Narrative. Today's video is my weekly update, everything I've finished reading, what I'm currently working on, and what I plan to get into next. Starting with what I finished. The first one that I finished this week is Cassidy Failing's The Binding Power. This is the second book in the Ancient's Blood series. I'm going to go ahead and classify this as grim dark fantasy. It's dark fantasy, but the reason why I call it grim dark is so many of the characters, and this is the funnest part for me reading this series, so many characters, I constantly flip-flop. Even in book 2, I constantly flip-flop on whether I think what they're doing, their actions, are they good or bad. The character thinks, I am doing this for the good of the people. I am doing this for the good of the kingdom. I am doing this because I should be the rightful king of Ratal. So the actions of the character in their mind, what they're doing is for the good, the greater good. But when you get into another character's perspective, and that character is looking at the consequences of those actions, well, that character's perspective is so logical, and they're seeing it as these actions that this person's taking is not good. So every time I'm switching character point of views, I am switching what I think about the characters. In the first book, The Awakening Fire, which I do have a non-spoiler review for, I'll have it linked above, but in that book, the king is murdered. There are 3 men vying for the throne. Of course, only one can take it. And the binding power, now that that one has it, he has to keep it. And he finds out it's a lot harder to keep it than it was to get it. So good. If you like political fantasy, dark fantasy, grim dark, it's fast paced, it's action packed, it's intriguing. There's all sorts of plots going on. Besides me, the reader, being constantly in flux, trying to decide how I feel about a character and what they're doing, the characters themselves feel the same way. So I really enjoyed this one. I cannot recommend Ancient's Blood enough by Cassidy Failing. I will have this book plus book 1 in the series linked in the description below if you want to read more about both of those, as well as my written reviews, and that goes for every book discussed here. Moving on to the next book that I finished this week, The Old Universe, book 1 of the Spear Saga by the author duo Forbidden Origins. If you're looking for a space opera, something that is reminiscent of Star Wars, Aurora Rising, or even Dune, this might be one you would be interested in picking up. It is my opinion, at least with the first book, this one would appeal most to younger science fiction bookworms simply because of the way that it's written. It's very pared down. It's not in depth. We don't get a whole lot of character development. This narrative is in the style of tell, don't show. I think it would make a great audiobook. It's just written in a way that someone is telling us this story of Zaman and Nox's son, Corin. I love the author's idea of how creation, the universe, was born in this world, or should I say world? Galaxy? How do you define something that happens in the big void of space? If you're like me and you have a sci-fi itch, this might be a good one to scratch it with. So that takes care of all of my finished reads for the week. Let's talk about what I'm still currently working on. I am making my way slowly through Shogun by James Clavell. I love this book. I am reading it a little faster than I intended. I intended to follow along with Mike's book reviews. He's got a read along going on his Discord where he's reading this book over 3 months. He's got it split up. The first 2 books were in January, the second 2 in February, and then we wrap things up in March. I thought I could do that because I slid this one into my TBR. It wasn't planned. I managed to do a pretty good job for most of the month, but I told y'all in the beginning when I started this that it was really hard to put down once I picked it up. And I've just kind of lost control. I'm not flying through it like I want to. I'm not just dedicating all of my reading time to it, though it is good enough to do so. But I am getting through it just a little bit faster. I predict I might have it finished sometime in February. In addition to Shogun, I did kick off my reread of book 12 in the Wheel of Time series, The Gathering Storm. Holy smokes, this one started off with a bang. I totally forgot what happened in the prologue, and it was so good. One of those moments that are one of the best in the series that you're just was cheering for. I got the audiobook in from my library. Finally, I've been waiting on my hold to come in for so many weeks now so I could get this one going. This is another one that I have a hard time putting down once I pick it up. While it is very true to Robert Jordan's writing style, Brandon Sanderson tweaks things just a little bit to get rid of that repetition that Jordan's writing style has. Jordan will repeat things in every book, which is fine, except that he repeats those things verbatim. Brandon Sanderson changes it up just enough, just a few words, so that the reader doesn't go, oh my gosh, do we really have to go over this again? So really enjoying my reread of The Gathering Storm. I cannot believe I'm almost done rereading the series. I've got 2 more books. It's insane. I cannot believe it. It feels like I've been reading it forever, and then it also feels like it's flying by. I'm still progressing through my 2 web serials, Our Kindredthist, which is a slice of life fantasy, and A Mini Tale, which is a cosmic fantasy. Last week I was complaining a little bit because the last several episodes have been more philosophical and I wanted more action. The very next episode had action. I was like, yes! And then the next one was more philosophical. But I'm still enjoying that one. I think I only have a few more episodes to complete the first arc, and then I'll get to start arc 2, which is the current one that's ongoing. In Our Kindredthist, my boy Eric has blundered big time, and he's just realized how big he might have messed up. What everybody seems to forget is that Eric has literally only been in this world for a couple of months. So when they're teaching him things, they don't teach the stuff that's common sense to them because they've lived there forever. So it's always funny to me when Eric's like, you didn't freaking tell me that. And somebody was like, well, I don't tell people to wipe their own butts either. And Eric's like, I've literally lived here for a month. And they're like, oh yeah, good point. So he's in the middle of doing damage control over another huge blunder. But I also like that he's starting to show a little bit of backbone. He's not going to let people just walk all over him. He's like, you know what? Jane and I are going to make a life here. We're going to be here. We're going to be a part of this community, and we're just not going to let people run over us anymore. So still really enjoying both of those. And the last one that I'm going to include under currently reading is The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. This is an arc I was approved for through NetGalley. I haven't actually started it yet, but I am going to start it as soon as I get done filming. So I'm going to count it into the currently reading, though I really can't update you about it because I haven't actually read a word of it yet. Next week though, next week I got you. That leads us to what's next on the TBR. Well, I have 3 books that I really want to start and finish before the end of January. Will she do it? I don't know. You'll have to stay tuned to find out. Those 3 books are Relight My Fire by C.K. McDonald. It's the 4th book in the Stranger Times series. I have the audiobook on pre-order because the audiobook is really the way to go with this series. The narrator, Brenda McDonald, is just perfection at doing all of these characters from this paranormal thriller series. So excited. The audiobook comes out for US residents Thursday, January 25th, so yesterday. I also have another arc that I got from NetGalley, The Therapy Room by Sam Barron. That one is a thriller, mystery, suspense novel. Super excited to read that. I've not read anything by Sam Barron before. I'm not even sure if this is a debut novel by this author, but the cover looked cool. The premise sounds amazing. And then the 3rd book that I really want to start and finish this month is River of Stars, the 2nd book in the Will of the Wayfinder series by Lillian Crow. I read book 1. It was part of SPFBO 8. Read that one, gave it 5 stars. Actually, everything I've read by this author, I have 5 stars. The 3rd book in this series is coming very soon, so I want to get caught up so I'm ready for it. So this one's going to get read in January, and if it doesn't get read in January, it's going to carry over to February. That is it for me this week, y'all. That's everything I have read, what I'm currently reading, what I'm planning to get to next. If any of the books I talked about caught your interest, you want to know more, don't forget to check out that description box where I have all the books linked for you to read the full book description, pick up a copy. If it's one that I finished, I'll have my written review linked if you want to have a little bit more information. Everything is non-spoiler, so you can read those without fear. And on your way down to that description box, hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button while you're there. Thank you all so very much for watching today. Really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day, a wonderful weekend, and I'll catch you in the next one.